How to winterize a travel trailer.
Hopefully it's not that extreme. I'm gonna do a quick shutdown for the winter. I'm gonna winterize this thing best I can and just give you guys some quick ideas of what I've done. I'm about to put the antifreeze in. I'll show you how I do that. What I've already done is underneath there is the main water line that goes into the tank. I emptied the tank out. Also emptied the lines and then reclosed those. And I pulled out the anode rod, which is in this bag right now, which comes out of this hole. And I am going to plug that hole as well with the bag so bugs and stuff don't get in there. Looks like one already is starting to try to get in there. But I'll do that yet today. This is my hot water tank. Emptied it all the way as well. Now we're going to go in and put the antifreeze in. Give you a quick rundown of what we did here already. This cover here was just over this compartment underneath our stove. You know, this is going to be in different, this is the water heater. This is going to be in different places on different campers, but ours is under the stove. There's two valves that you got to turn off, or you got to open, I should say. You turn it away from the hot water tank. There's one up here. My finger's pointing. There you go. You put it in line with the line itself. And then everything we do at this point will bypass this tank, and this tank is empty. There's also one in here. I don't know if I can see it at this point. There. That turns off, or I should say bypasses the tank, the camper tank. So now what we have is our water pump will suck through this hose. This is a spare hose that's hooked up to one side of the water pump in there. And once you turn that valve toward that, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to suck from this, and it's going to go nowhere except into the lines that's in the camper. So you're not filling any tanks or anything up with this. We're going to stick one of these down in there, this hose down in it, and then I'm going to start running the faucets until we see pink. And you do it for every faucet you have on a camper. So that's our next step. I know in the older days, when they had different water lines in here, people would actually take their air compressors, and maybe you still should. I don't know. I haven't done it. I've done this 3 years now, and I haven't had any issues. But some people will go outside and blow out the water lines, blow out your water tank and everything. It's probably not a bad idea. If you want to blow out your hot water tank, that's probably a good idea. I haven't done it, and I'll probably get yelled at for that, but I've had no problems with it whatsoever. And as far as the plumbing inside, it's all this Plex stuff now. And it's stretchy, it's bendy, and it doesn't crack quite as easy. So having just teeny tiny traces of water in there, in my opinion, I don't think is going to hurt anything. It hasn't up to this point. I could learn a lesson the hard way, but you know, since I'm kind of lazy, I'm just basically going to run this antifreeze in it until it comes out the faucets, and I'm going to call that good enough and be done. And that'll be, and we should be pretty much finished up with closing up the camper for the winter time. I have a good spot to put this antifreeze bottle in there. And my line's kind of tight and short, so it's only coming down, I don't know, about right to here. So I've got to keep an eye on this. I'm going to go in at this point and turn on the water pump, and it's going to start sucking this in, and it'll stop once the lines get full. And then from that point, I got to start watching this. Well, I got to watch it when it's sucking in too, but I just got to make sure it doesn't run dry for any period of time. And then I'll replace it with another one if it needs to be. Now we come in here, turn on the water pump, and we hear it sucking. And it's sucking some in, and it stopped. So right now the lines are full of this stuff. So let's see, I'm going to start back in the back here. Let's start back in the shower. And just run it until it turns pink. There we go. That one's pink. Hot and cold both. So it turns pink. There we go. Now I'm gonna go out here and check, see how much I still have in my. So we're getting down now pretty close to where that hose will go to. So I'm gonna check that here. I was actually able to just lay this down on it, prop it on its side now, and you can see the hose is all the way to the bottom, so I can go a little farther here. Now we'll do the sink, bathroom sink. Already pink coming out. For a couple seconds. It's good. Do the other side. Alright. No more white. That's good. Let's see what I got left in the tank here. It's down to the bottom here now. So I'm going to swap these out, because when you pull this out of here, of course, you're going to get drippage, and you don't want it all over your nice new camper. So we're going to leave a little bit in there. I'm going to take some out of this. And once I got enough room, then I'll put the rest of this in there. So we're not wasting. Second jug here. Push the hose in as far as I can. And we'll go to the product. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this in here too, in the tank. To help keep that tank, whatever's left in that tank, from freezing. I'll probably end up putting a little bit more in there, but I want to make sure I got enough for all the faucets. Make sure you leave some above your seal there, so that doesn't dry up. It keeps any smells from coming up as well. Really good. All I got left is a kitchen sink and the outside shower. So by the time I put this back in this tank, we should end up with plenty of water, or plenty of antifreeze to do the job. Let's go ahead and run the kitchen sink. There's the pink. And all this is going to the gray tank right now. So that'll help, that'll keep some antifreeze in there too as well. All right, we're sucking there now. Swap these out. I'll put this fluid into that, and then I'll tip it on its side so we can get all of it out. Added to this jug what was in here. Quite a bit left in there. Laid it on its side, so I pressed this all the way down to the bottom. I'm going outside to do the outside. Some of you have noticed, when you came out your outside showers, look how cruddy this gets. I had no clue what was doing this. I don't know if it was a bug or whatever it is, but we had really bad pollen this year. So what it's been doing is running down the drain here, running down the side of my camper. It comes in this shower and just fills this up with pollen. So I got to constantly clean this out. Anyhow, we're going to do this. That till it turns pink. We had a lot of water in that line. Pretty long distance. Okay, so at this point we lost water pressure and it's just now turning pink. This was a long run here. So it took quite a bit of that jug to fill up here. So we are going to have to use some of a third jug. This water in the type that I've got here is safe for the environment. So we're just letting this run onto the concrete. So we're going to use some of this third jug. I should also mention that I turned off the water pump when I came inside here, when I saw that was low and sucking air, because you don't want to run your water pump dry. So we're going to turn it back on now. And we hear it running. Sucking the air out of the line, sucking some more down in. And there we go. To use up some of the extra antifreeze, I went ahead and ran the inside faucets a little bit longer. This is our final one here. There we go. Now we got pink. Okay. Now let's do cold. It started off pink, oh, and then went white. Here's the pump inside running. There's where all the air was. There we go, now we're pink. See on the ground a little bit better. We are done putting the antifreeze in. I'm going to take what's left in the bottle now and put it in the toilet. So I'm just going to check the other faucets one more time. Yep, that's good. That has some air in it. So that's good. I'll go ahead and put the rest of this in that one bottle. I'm just going to run the other faucets one more time. Just little quick ones to make sure there's... Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. See, that one had a little bit of white still in it here. Doesn't hurt to go back and check, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of that bottle down in here. At this point, go ahead and turn off your water pump. See, this is all I have left, so there's not a ton. I'm going to go. An additional note, this is a 35-foot camper. It's a 35-foot trail, Heartland trail runner. And it took three, okay, it's 1 gallon. Yeah, 3 1-gallon jugs to complete the winterize process on and put screws back in by hand a little ways just to hold it on. Because the first thing I'll be doing come spring is taking this back off. So there's no sense putting this slide to this winter here. So I'm going to attempt to leave the fridge doors open and the bathroom door open in case we have to crawl across here for any reason to get in here for something. This will make it a lot easier because there's no opening that door once this slides in. Hopefully it stops before it gets to it. Right or wrong, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to put this in here to keep bugs from getting in it. Just a simple plastic bag. I mean, I think some people put the anode rod back in, but I left it out in a bag. I think I'm going to replace it. That's why I did that. But you could drain it and put the rod back in just as easy. Okay, so that part should be done. Now for the not so very much fun part. I'm going to pull this slide in, so I got to make sure there's nothing up on top that's going to get in the way. So that's what I'm doing. Well, I have no sticks or limbs up here. Definitely needs a cleaning, but that's going to be for next spring here. But I have nothing I've got to get out of the way, which is amazing. Okay, the scary part, I'm going to pull this slide in. We left this out last winter, which I wish I wouldn't have done because it did get a lot of snow and stuff up there. I don't appear to have any damage other than, you know, there's some black mold on top, which we're going to need to clean off. But that'll be a next spring project. Now I'm going to see if this comes in okay. So here we go. Whoa, that's loud. It sure is scary, but they told me it would be scary. I'm just looking to make sure nothing's hitting, it's not going to hit the TV. I want to make sure I can keep my doors open here. Okay, it's reaching its end. That's it. Makes that funky little clunking sound. I'm just backing it just a tad, just to drop it to the flat spot. Oh my, I think we did it okay. All right, guys, let's go outside. Make sure the seals look good. See, that's the first time I've pulled that slide back in since I've had the camper. Oh. I don't see any issues. It looks pretty good, don't it? I'm asking you guys because I really don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I can see the actual seals pressed up against. Spider in there, but probably didn't go too well for him. It looks really good. I'm completely pleased with that. Okay, so we're done for the winter. I am going to leave it plugged in case we got to get in there. I put stuff in the bedroom. We may have to get in there at some point. First winter I had this now, I used heat lamps underneath it and heaters on the inside on the lowest wattages I could find on all of those, just to see if I could keep it from freezing up through the winter instead of winterizing it. But I've come to the conclusion it's much easier to winterize and de-winterize. We thought, you know, we was going to be using it through the first winter we had this. That's why I used the heat lamp process. And it worked. I had lamps in with the lithium battery, light bulbs, and I had heat lamps under the camper here. 2 heat lamps under the camper, and I had this completely wrapped and sealed with insulation, foil insulation. And it did a really good job. It was pretty warm underneath there. I had animals that wanted to live in there during the winter time, which I guess you're gonna get. But I insulated the doorways on this. I put a lot of work into it. It was a lot more work than just going and buying some jugs and de-winterizing it. So from now on, definitely doing the antifreeze de-winterize process. Pull the slide in, don't leave the slide out, because you're going to get weight on that from the snow, and you could end up with all kinds of problems. Of course, it scared me a little bit when I first pushed the in button. Made a clunking sound, but they said it'd do that. They say it sounds like it's going to rip apart, but it just doesn't. It pulled in really nicely, so I'm pretty happy with it. So there's our 35-foot Heartland trail runner, winterized. I'm sure you guys are going to tell me some things I missed, and I probably done some things that I forgot to put on video here too. You know, I am fairly new at this, but I'm not brand new. Wrong, that's all I'm asking. All right, guys, thanks.